Okay, I'm going to try to say this really quick. So I know that some people might be like, oh my God, Austin, chill the fuck out with all the stuff that you're posting. But I just wanted to share a little bit more context about why this is also very concerning, and I am kind of like crashing out over a lot of this news. Um, but I have worked in the healthcare industry for getting close to 20 years now. 2028 will be my 20 years of working in the healthcare industry. And I've really been on kind of on the tech side. I'm not a developer, I don't code, but I kind of work in the trenches between the business and the IT folks. So I'm kind of like the decoder ring between each of them. I've spent a lot of time as a business systems analyst, if you're familiar with that type of function. I've been kind of internal process improvement, helping to do automation, machine learning, AI, using bots to help kind of lean out processes, reduce waste, real waste reduction, real fraud, waste, and abuse type stuff, not like what has been in the mainstream media and the government has been talking about. That is not waste reduction, that is not fraud, waste, and abuse, but that is a topic for another day. But I have been working like in the data, big data sets. Really, the amount of data that's in claims and medical claims is extensive, and I've worked with that. And now with my late autism diagnosis, I understand why I was able to like consume all that level of data and like get pattern recognition. That's why I've been so good at my job, is because of the autism, and because of the way I'm able to consume data and kind of zoom in and out of these really kind of complex business problems. And so that's what I've been doing really heavily the last 10 years of my career. And in the last 5 years of my career, I've been working with venture capitalist startups and private equity firms in this kind of healthcare tech startup space. And let me tell you, the shit that I have seen is atrocious. Like, and this is like medium tech and like little tech. This isn't like big tech. So when I tell you that these people are the slimiest, skeeziest, get around every corner they can, they've talked themselves into the fact that they have to break these rules so that they can get in play with the big boys and actually take them down. Like, it's a joke. Like, a venture capitalist and a private equity firm are not going to actually fund companies that are going to solve a problem that is rooted in capitalism. I was naive when I was joining these companies. I was really excited. I wanted to help build the next generation of claims processing and plan management software, because again, thanks to the autism, like I've got like billions of dollars worth of information in my mind, and I've been jumping from company to company of these startups that are like, yeah, we're going to build it. We've got this developer team, we've got this, and they like literally have no clue. And so when I tell you, it doesn't matter if it's a startup or a nonprofit or whatever, these people are making terrible decisions, surface level decisions, using data in inappropriate ways, putting sentences and changing words in 100-page contracts that allow them to do the very things you don't want them to do with your information. So if that's what little tech is doing, if that's what medium tech is doing, if that's what nonprofit health insurance, community-based, mission-driven companies are doing, what do you think this government is doing? What do you think big tech is doing with your data? Like, so I hope that those examples made sense. Again, I am not a developer or a coder. I could probably update an API script or a robotic process automation script. I could write some SQL. Like, I'm not tech illiterate. I would say I'm more on the intermediate side when it comes to that. But again, with all of the information that these people have, I know in my mind the sinister shit I could do with that data, right? Like, I've seen so much terrible decision making and manipulation of data to do things or to profile things, and I've seen the mistakes they make. I've seen where, you know, we write, this code is written and it leaves out these edge cases. And in those scenarios, when we're talking about data, when we're talking about targeting, that means targeting people that shouldn't be targeted. And the amount of, and I'm working on this to this day with some AI and machine learning tools that I'm working in my current job, in my current role. And what's happening is it's creating all of these false positives and these false negatives. Now, in the sense of targeting and developing profiles for American citizens and trying to determine their risk level and using that to target resources to these places, those false positives and those false negatives are MAGA, are conservatives, are conservative Christians, are white nationalists. Like, the ridiculous mistakes that I've seen made in these types of scripts and like, again, that software, that code that's doing whatever this job is, or putting this information together, right? There, somebody is writing it out, giving it business requirements, and assuming that they have all of the use cases, all of the situations. And more times than not, especially with these tech bros, they only have surface level shit that you could get from Google. So they're missing the lion's share of stuff that's going on. And again, when that comes to what we see is in front of us for what our government is doing with our data and what big tech is doing with our data, even people like me who are definitely on a list, are definitely high risk or whatever, I've been hypercritical of the government my entire footprint of being online, like since instant messenger days, like since coding my MySpace page. Fuck Bush. Like, for real. Like, my footprint and breadcrumbs go back literal decades. And I mean, again, I don't care. I really don't care. But there are people who think they're safe or think they might be safe, and they won't be because of these terrible, terrible assumptions. And nobody's going to catch that and fix that. It's not worth anybody's time. I've seen companies literally put millions of dollars of patient responsibility on medical claims and just accept that as collateral damage and say, well, we'll deal with it on a squawk basis. Oh, well, we're going to auto deny it so that we can fire a bunch of humans and have the system automate it. And we know it's going to be wrong 20% of the time, and that's fine. They'll have to do an appeal, which is an extremely expensive process. So again, I have been working with levels of these concepts and how we use data for a very long time. And I was just wanting to share a little bit of this context because maybe it will be helpful, or maybe somebody has a question, or I don't know. But I just wanted to share like my own personal experience. And if you know me, now you know somebody who you can talk to or reach out to if you have questions or you want to talk about something. Like, please feel free to do so. Not only my experience with work, but before I had to sell my soul and get my business degrees, I was a history major. And before that, I was a biology major. I was really into, physical anthropology, and I'm still into all of those things. Like, I literally, like right here, I mean, one of my books I'm reading right now is this new book that is just all this updated information about biology, because that's one thing I love about good science, is that when we learn new information, we fucking change the textbooks. We go back and we say, oh, we already have rule 1, 2, 3, let's add rule 0. Hello, thank you, thermodynamics. Okay, so like, I'm still about it on that geek level shit, and I still keep up with this information. Like, I buy the books, I keep abreast of what is going on as much as I can. But I just want people to have more information, because it feels like people don't have information, and they also, like, they just don't have any experience. Like, these things haven't touched their lives before. They don't really conceptually understand how this information could be used against them, why it's being used against them, and how dangerous it could be, even if you are a Trump supporter. And again, if this is interesting to people and you want more examples, I could literally talk for hours of examples of this, about how I have seen data and systems do this in the healthcare space. And it all has to do, again, with that underlying piece, which is the data and bad assumptions, and how that is put together. And it is 100% relevant and transferable to what we're seeing right now. So, yeah, I hope that this was helpful, and feel free to ask me any questions. Yeah.